Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today's video we're going to cover the latest episode of Interview with the Vampire, and I know I do these kind of last minute right before the next episode, but I wanted to dive into this one because this is the breaking point. This is the tipping point, if you will. It is episode 6, Like the Light, by which God made the world before he made the light. Quite the mouthful. But this episode, it's leading up to the point in the story where we're going to start losing people. And it's unpacking Armand's betrayal and the aftermath of everything that happened last episode, where we got the big reveals of the memories that Armand had taken from Louis and Daniel. And in this episode, we get the reveal that Louis actually requested that to be done. He wanted those memories taken away. He wanted those memories taken away from Daniel, too. So in this episode, we really get back to the time period of Claudia, Louis, and Armand, and what's going on between them and the Coven, and everything that's going to lead up to this major point in the story. We get Claudia. She is still in this state, but she's understanding more and more as the years go by. She hates being part of the Coven. She hates retelling this same story through this play that she's a part of, but also she is understanding how it's not really what she wants, and how being in this Coven, even though she's surrounded by vampires, she hates them all. She's never felt more alone. And she goes on to really have more communications with Madeline, who she's not supposed to be communicating to begin with. Armand kind of forbade it, in a sense, where she's not supposed to be in contact with this woman. She's not supposed to reveal that she's a vampire to humans. That's one of the rules. You don't reveal that you're a vampire and let them live. But as kind of a compromise, he says just cut ties with her and we won't have to kill her. So in this part of the story, we're going into where Claudia's state of mind is, where she is in the Coven, how she's just not happy anymore, or she just wasn't as happy as she thought she would be, and seeing the depths of the betrayal and the things that are going on in the background with Santiago, who is building up his own following. He's making all these other vampires within this Coven realize that Armand is not acting in their best interest. He's being weak. He is letting his feelings for Louis cloud his judgment. And so as a result, he is taking the Coven under his own wing, and they've already started referring to him as Coven Master, or whatever the name that they have for them. And they're laying out plans to take out Armand and Louis and everybody right under their noses. They're using their telepathic communication and just putting on a show and just really getting Armand to believe that he's still in charge, even though they all agree that he's not anymore. And as this going on too, we have the story with Claudia and Armand, and this builds up to having Claudia come to Armand and Louis, basically begging to make Madeline a vampire. She wants her to be turned, so she has this companion. She's found this friendship and this romantic entanglement or whatever with Madeline, who is already kind of a outsider with her community, with her people, because it's revealed in a couple episodes before where she was a Nazi sympathizer. She went along with Nazi plans, or just got involved with a Nazi soldier as basically a way to survive what was going on during World War II. And after the war was over, people really came at her. They constantly putting swastikas on her shop window. And in this episode too, we get those same people coming back to do that, and she kind of has had enough. She freaks out. She throws something through the window at these people, and they all attack her, and they take her to the back room, and they prepare to assault her. And this is where Claudia comes in, and she deals with all of them, killing all of them right in front of her, leaving a mess. So now she has to deal with having this mess cleaned up. She does it, of course, but she is also breaking more rules along the way. But she is at this point where she just doesn't care anymore. She doesn't want to be a part of this Coven. She's more lonely than ever. She wants out of it. She wants to make Madeline her companion. She wants someone that she can actually relate to, someone that has her back, whereas she knows that she cannot count on any of these other vampires. Louis is yet again distracted by another love. So she goes to Armand and Louis, begging them, please turn her. And Armand, he's kind of coy about it, and he somewhat agrees, it seems, or at least he entertains the idea of it, and he goes to talk to Madeline, trying to get her to understand, if you turn, there's things that could affect how you think and how you feel, the different parts of your era, what happens when the last part of your era is gone. And she makes, good arguments and everything, but at the end he turns her down. But we also get the reveal that Armand in his 500 plus years has never turned anybody. He's never made another vampire. And so this is where Louis kind of jumps in the driver's seat and takes charge. He turns her almost kind of, not really willingly, but he wants to do this for Claudia because he does care about her, but he doesn't want to share Lestat's blood with anybody. He doesn't think it's good enough, being that him and Claudia were made by Lestat. He doesn't want to, I guess, in a sense, spread that curse, but he does just kind of go with it and just decide there at the last minute that he will do this for Claudia, and he turns Madeline, and of course it's a successful turn, and Madeline and Claudia kind of go off and start living their lives. But we get kind of, I think, a flash forward, probably not too long, I don't think, if maybe a few months to a couple of years, maybe, I'm not sure of the time frame. But we get this, and this is where the build-up comes. We're at the end of the episode. The whole episode's been kind of focused around Claudia and her desire to have someone by her side, and the things that were building up in the background of the Coven. Santiago planning all these things to overthrow Armand. And we get this dinner where we have Claudia, Louis, Armand, and now Madeline conversing about their plans, seeing that everyone's happy, everyone's cracking jokes, and at the last few minutes of the scene, we see Armand get up from the table, and he's just very nonchalant about it, and he's not really expressing anything, he's not saying anything, and he gives Louis a hug, and Louis gives him a kiss, and they have this moments where Madeline, who is a new vampire, of course, and she's trying to understand her abilities and what she can do with them, and she sees that Armand truly does love Louis. But we see Armand go out to the corner of this shop, the corner of this cafe, facing the street, and then we see Santiago approach from the darkness. And this is where Armand's betrayal comes to light. We see Santiago, and then we see people start freezing up as one of their abilities. They can kind of alter people's perception of what's going on and more or less slow time in a sense, or just move faster than anybody can see. And Louis and Claudia and everybody start to notice this, and then we suddenly have the Coven come out of the crowd, snatch up everybody, and the episode kind of closes out with all of them on stage, a one-night performance of all of them on stage with bags over their head, beaten to hell. This is where the story is going to kind of come to a traumatizing point for Louis, and I won't go into the details. We'll figure out what's going on in the next episode, how they play out this part of the story, but it's not going to end well for a few people, and this is where Louis is really going to have the trauma that defines probably the next several decades of his life, as we see that in the flashback episode of the 70s with him and Daniel when they first meet, that they have this conversation and everything, and we can see that he's still very traumatized by Lestat, he's traumatized by the coming events. And so I'm really excited to see how it plays out, how they do it in this version of the story, and what the after effects will be, and how Louis takes his revenge and what he does to get back at what they're going to do, and what details they might include in this retelling of this story that I'm not familiar with. I'm always excited to learn more. And then in this episode too, the next episode anyways, we're going to get to the return of Lestat. He's going to reveal himself to still be alive. So they're probably going to have quite the shock to Louis and Claudia, and to see them have more or less a trial there on stage as part of a play. And that's why it's a one-night only thing, and just what they're going to do, how they're going to do it this time around. So I'm really excited to see how the next episode plays out, what they do, what they change, what they do that I'm not familiar with. But it was a really good episode, and it's about to get really sad for everybody. So I'm really excited to see how this all comes about and what they do differently, and just see how the rest of the season is going to go, because we've got 2 episodes left. We're down to the last 2, because we got the penultimate, and then we got the season finale. And I have not heard any word on a season 3 yet. I'm sure it's in the works, but there's not been too much update about it, if any at all, really. But it was another great episode. I've been really enjoying the crap out of this series, and just the acting has been phenomenal, the storytelling and the way they do it. So I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season goes and what they do with it. But it was another great episode. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, of course, subscribe to the channel, help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you later. Take care. Bye.